So I've been asked to come up and talk a little bit about integrating AI into both my education and within my employment. So I'll go over what I do very quickly. So I'm a fourth-year digital solutions and software engineering apprentice, which means I spend 1 day at university every week and 4 days in employment. And at work over the last 3 years, I've been working in CESUM, which stands for Counter Electronic Surveillance Measures, Electronic Warfare Systems, and most recently under Peter in AI integration and R&D. So I'll talk a little bit about my education first. So I started university in September of 2021. And one of the things you need to understand about STEM degrees in general is they really do struggle to keep up with the pace of innovation, which is one of the reasons why events like this are so important. It doesn't mean that the skills you learn at those in those degrees are not going to be valuable to you, but you really do need to keep up with the fast-moving technology space. So this became really relevant on the 30th of November 2022. This is where OpenAI released ChatGPT-4, which was one of the most well-received large language models. And as software developers, we immediately started to use this, I won't say cheat, but to write our coding assignments and get code out of there and to kind of see where we can get things out of it. I use it quite a lot for spelling and grammar checking and for paper summarization. So it's great to put a scientific paper into there, into ChatGPT, and ask it, right, what's this paper saying, and is it worth me reading it? And it can really cut down on research times, especially if you have tight deadlines. And this had some immediate effects on education in general. So we went, one of the first things they introduced was coding reviews. So now it wasn't just enough for me to submit my code and have someone mark it. I had to go into a 20-minute interview and defend that code. Why did I make those choices? And that was to kind of combat the use of these AI systems. We had more complex assignments. So we went from doing really simple object-orientated file management systems to trying to solve the Ed Queens problem. If you don't know what that is, it's trying to see how many queens you can fill on a chessboard without any of them being able to take each other, and then expanding that chessboard into an infinite space and trying to work it out for as many, for a larger chessboard up into the infinite. And then they put into a new course structure. So my course had no AI modules, and now my course has 2 AI modules, one on AI in business and one on writing and creating large language models and machine learning models. So I'll talk quickly about how I use it in work. I'll brush over this slide. Peter said a lot of it. So we are already using code to write AI to write code on the developer level. So it's great for very simple things like boilerplate code, layouts, and something called string manipulation, an example of which you can see in Python on the right there. I have checked, it does work. But this leads to security and oversight issues. So one of my jobs is to research how do we get AI into the pipeline of developing code safely. We also integrate AI into products. So Babcock is more of a product integrator than a product developer. So we go out and we find pre-existing models. For example, we're working at the moment with an open source model called WhisperX, and we're using it to transcribe military radio communications. We then move on to model fine-tuning. So we take that pre-existing model and we make it better at doing what we want it to do. And in this case, it is transcribing military radio comms. And then finally, at the bottom there, application development. The majority of my job on a day-to-day basis is taking the work that AI does and working out how to manage that data that it produces, and then wrapping that in a UI that we can use it for our customers. Very finally, I'd like to leave you with this slide. Now, that's the prompt that I typed into ChatGPT to create this last few words, and that's what's coming out. Leaving you the last bit of advice there, number 5, is don't trust anything that comes out of these systems without reading it first.